Welcome to toy-polloi. Parental guidance. This video contains scenes of Lego destruction.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today we're going to be doing a quick repair on a vintage New Adventures of He-Man figure, because as you can see here, poor He-Man has broken his sword. Now this is an incredibly common thing to happen with this version of He-Man. The way the sword is designed, it's actually got quite a thin sort of hilt that fits into his hand, and as you can see it snaps off. It's just the type of plastic that this is made of, and when it snaps off like this, how is He-Man supposed to battle Skeletor and his evil horde? He can't, because he's got no weapon. So let's fix up this sword so that He-Man can have a good battle and fight again. So here we have the New Adventures version of He-Man. As you can see, he's got a spring-loaded arm, and the idea is that you put the sword into the hand there, and that he can sort of attack Skeletor with this spring-loaded hand. The other hand is also spring-loaded, the one that you put the shield on. But as is the case with most of these, you'll see that this has snapped off. I'm guessing it's just a weak point. This sort of plastic is fairly brittle, and it does get a bit thin here where it goes into the hilt of the sort of sword. So you put that in the figure, and I'm guessing just with some sort of play, the chances of that snapping off are pretty high, and so this is what happens. So first thing to do is always to check my pot of Lego, because this is really going to be an ideal source for parts for this. So we go here. This is my sort of standard pieces of Lego that I use for a lot of things, and I can immediately see, and I've actually already checked because I knew this was going to be the case, that we have here an antenna, and these are pieces that I use to fix sort of toys all the time, because they are a great sort of source of plastic. These are always 3mm in diameter, and more often than not you'll find that they fit perfectly in other toys. So you can see here, if I put this in, this does fit really very nicely. So it's obviously that the hole in He-Man's hand there is a 3mm hole, because that is such a good fit, and you can get them in really sort of vibrant and all sorts of different colours. So I've been on eBay quickly and I've purchased some in neon yellow, and as you can see, that is actually a very good match for the neon that the plastic is made from originally. Now this handle would have been just a piece of neon plastic that sticks down, so we can use that as our basis to make a new handle, and I think it should work quite nicely. So let's get on. We need to make a modification to this sword and then cut these down, but that will make quite a nice new handle, and it will match in colour. What we need to do is work out a good way of attaching this Lego antenna to the bottom of the sword and make it a nice strong fix. All Lego pieces have numbers, so I'm going to put the number at the bottom of the screen so you can see exactly what piece this is if you want to fix your own sword. Every piece of Lego comes with its sort of specific number, so it makes them very easy to search for. And as I say, I picked these up off of eBay pretty cheaply. Now what we're going to do is we're going to attach this to the sword by drilling a hole into the bottom of this. You can see that the bit of plastic here is actually quite thick, so we should be able to drill in a hole that is the same sort of diameter as the Lego antenna, which is 3mm, and there'll be a lot of plastic around the edge to still give it support. But you can see on this one that it's snapped off at rather an awkward point, and it's got a little bit left that we don't need, so I'm going to cut that away. I've got a pair of plastic nippers here. I'm just going to cut that away and make a nice sort of flat surface so that we've got something good to drill into. So if we cut that like that, see, that gives us a much sort of neater surface to work on. Now with drilling holes, you don't drill the final size of hole you want first, especially in old plastic like this. What we're going to do is drill a pilot hole which is smaller. So as I say, this is a 3mm piece of plastic, so actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to drill a 1.5mm hole into this, get a sort of pilot hole going, and we probably need to drill it in about that far, so sort of about 1 centimetre if we can, just that there's a nice lot of space that when we turn this around and sort of put it in that way, it's got a sort of a lot of area to give it some grip and also give it some structure and make sure that this is a good strong fix. So let's start by drilling a 1.5mm hole into the end of this, and to do that I am using a pin vise. This is a 1.5mm drill bit, and I'm going to very carefully line this up and just go slowly and drill a hole into here first. Once I've got that hole drilled, I will then move on to a 3mm drill bit, which as I say is the same diameter as this, and we'll get that hole enlarged. But to start with, let's do the smaller hole. So you can see with just a small amount of drilling I've now managed to put a hole in the bottom of that this Lego piece quite firmly fits into, and it really is a very good match. So all we've got to do now is chop this down. So at the moment I'm putting in the rounded end of the antenna, and I'm going to say that I want the sword hilt to be, well, let's say about that long. The actual original one is quite long, it sticks sort of way out the bottom of He-Man's hand, so let's just cut it about there. Always worth keeping any bits that you sort of have left when you've cut the sort of plastic off, because all bits of Lego end up being quite useful. While this is just in place, I'm going to sand that down just to try and make it a bit flatter. And now what we can do is we'll take that out, we'll turn it over, and we'll put that end in. And you can immediately see we've now got quite a nice looking sword with quite a convincing handle. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of super glue on the end of that. We'll push that back in, let it dry, and yeah, that should be a good new handle for He-Man to hold on to. Let's just put that in so you can see that working. Yeah, that is quite convincing. So let's put a bit of glue on that and we'll let that set. The glue has now had time to dry. You can see that's nice and firmly held in, so we can slot this back into He-Man's hand and he is ready to go. You can see that it all works very nicely. The slicing action on He-Man really is quite vicious, but I don't think that is going to break again. And it's very pleasing when pieces of Lego just happen to have the same sort of colourings as the toy you're trying to fix. And as you can see, the neon sort of yellowy green of this Lego antenna is a very good match indeed. So there we go. That is He-Man's sword back up and working, so he can go and battle Skeletor again. I do need to say a massive thank you to Bas van den Heuvel, who very kindly recently sent me a big box of broken and sort of smashed up He-Man figures, and this New Adventures of He-Man figure was included in that. And I just thought it would be nice to start working on that box, and this was quite a sort of simple, easy fix to do, but one I've often seen this sword broken, so one I think many people will find useful. I also want to say thank you to Philip Galeazzi, who a while back contacted me on Instagram. He goes by the name of Art by the Anomaly, and asked if I would like a piece of artwork drawn especially for toy-polloi, and you know what I would like drawn. I said to him, well, I love Skeletor, can you do me a picture of Skeletor? And he did this amazing picture for me. It just turned up in the post this morning. As you can see, it really is fantastic. So a massive thank you to Philip for spending the time to draw this wonderful picture for me. I'm now going to have to find a frame and get this framed up and put with the other sort of really cool bits of art that I've been sent since I started toy-polloi. But do check out his Instagram account. I will put a link to that in the description, because yeah, his artwork is really lovely and this is just fantastic. I'm a massive Skeletor fan, so this is going to go up on the wall here along with all of my other Skeletor. So yeah, thanks again Philip, amazing stuff. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.